Hello and welcome to the Supports Commentary. Doses of gameplay with an injection of thoughts, critique, and advice. My name is BlueGill75. I'm really starting to enjoy playing Ayla. I say I'm not very good at going for kills, but I tend to focus more on lane supports because I find that people just go for kills. Which is fine if one person can take care of droids. I find that Ayla is very good at doing that. I find she does very well against droids and helping them out she can build into. Because I find just using rage on a swarm of droids works out quite well because that lifesteal can make it back in. The usual items I get for Ayla now, I tend to just go for support. She seems to combo quite well with tanky characters, so if you... Because I didn't... Watch this. I noticed that Skull there wasn't able to reach him for the kill, so I made a risk for it anyway, so... I say don't normally go for kills, but when I see that my ally is unable to do it for whatever reason, not enough health or just too risky for their character, I'll go for it. But when I started out this match, I just went for rage, so I would have it save up to get the item I was mentioning. It's called Rubber Band Ball, so it makes all your allies, and I believe yourself, go faster as well. It's pretty much the same effect as the Space Air Max, the speed boots. Lasts for a little good while, and I thought I'd get Evil Eye just to have it, at the very least. But I find that if your droids can get out there, and if you can reach them, it really helps break defenses. Kind of helps get droids carried through, because they can go quite fast. Because I find that you can turn Ayla's Rage into an indefinite time warp. Doesn't really slow people down. You can use Evil Eye to slow people down, but I find it works well if you just want to help droids or just help yourself last longer in a fight. But I found for the first while in this match it was quite difficult to stay out there. We did have a head start in terms of money versus what they had, but it was just hard to get health because Ayla can't heal. She can only heal herself. So Ayla and Scoop are able to... Well, Skulder's capable as well, which it looks like he did end up getting. So we were all able to sustain health. And because I was thinking that if they go for kills, then I can just help push droids. And we were able to defend quite well. This match turned out really nicely. I've been trying to just aim for matches that are... I'm trying to go for close matches, but there are matches where I'm just really close to getting a good match, then either I don't want to blame it on lag, but there have been times where somebody goes on Netflix, then just when the match is getting good, someone goes on, then I lose my bandwidth, then I get kicked off. I'm not trying to blame anybody, just those things that happen to, like, you're trying to get that perfect shot, then just something beyond your control happens, because I'm not booting my parents off Netflix. Anyway, yeah, I live at home, I'm 22, what of it. So figured I'd just get droids pushed down to the lane, because I'm trying to learn to use droids, well, those hummingbird droids and those capsules, to use them when I'm beginning to push, or at least help out counter a push, because I didn't just push the button when I'm going back for items, but as you see right there, it helps those droids make more progress on the lanes, because I don't have to be with them the entire step of the way like Voltar or anyone else needs to. Just tap that and they have that effect for 5 seconds. I have a 5-second speed boost. And when I play as Ayla in this style, I tend to not be so aggressive, but I'm learning to get better at her so I'm getting more comfortable trying to handle people. So I figured I was going to try to take out those hummingbird droids, kind of regen some energy. And I found that I just trying to go for, because I got my basic plan initiated, I was just trying to have a way to get some life back at the very least. But my allies are doing quite good and holding the front anyway, because Ayla's not very good. Like, she can deal a lot of damage, but she takes a lot of damage in return. Same thing for Death. Like, and Ayla can get lots of kills, but she ends up getting herself killed in the process. Because what's interesting with the rage is that it can go through people, but the big counter with Ayla is that she really, really becomes vulnerable when she suffers from knockback or any kind of crowd control. Because when I play against an Ayla, as Genji is doing here, is try to aim for Ayla, get her out of rage so that she breaks her focus, and I try to work against that. But this guy got a little too close. It can be hard to know what the cutoff point is for the turret. So it's a little tricky to tell, but I figured I'd just try to, yeah, just those little particles that come off the ball, off the rage. That's what applies to speed boost. So it does hang around for a little while, but this is what I mean. Like, it's great defense work that Ayla can do, because if I'm like, oh, there's a whole swarm of people coming in, no problem. Whereas if I was Voltar, I'd be genuinely worried. But I find I can deal with lane support very, very well as Ayla. I'm just trying out some different support builds, but I've been having so much fun playing as Ayla. I can see why a lot of people play as her. Like, a lot of new players tend to go for the young character. Like, a lot of new players will pick the Scout in TF2 because, I don't know, appeals to younger people or something like that. So maybe that's the same way with Ayla. Might be why I call her Ayla, or is she Ayla? Ayla? I don't know. I'm thinking of Kayla with a K on Ayla, so that's where I'm getting it from. Anyway, so I figured I'd just try to push the lanes at the very least, because I'm aware that I'm not building into a powerful build, or I don't think so. I was just trying to help my allies. But maybe I should have been with my allies more, but I was just worried that it would have become a problem as all of us were in a group and then someone would sneak around. I was just trying to keep both lanes pushed at the same time. So I was juggling it quite a bit, but I kind of lost some control in the process. But just trying to just hit those guys every once in a while. But it also makes some decent money anyway, because we do have a nice little amount compared to their team where they taken some hits already. And I'm trying out the Solar Cragberg. I find it works out very well for a support Ayla build, because you can use the rage while you're running through the bottom lane here, for example, collect that money, get your health back, or if you're killing droids primarily, you can collect that solar, then you get your health back for spending time in rage. But I find that once I get my attack speed on my basic attack, then I'll just, when I run into a droid, I just use my rage as a vehicle, pretty much, because I never bother building damage or anything like that, because I figure just try to, well, just use it to get people to go faster, pretty much that. So when there wasn't any enemies around, I would just go into rage, speed up all my allies, go down this path as quickly as possible, and then when I took a little bit of damage, I would go out of rage and get some light back that way, because it seems to get light back much better than rage mode and default anyway. I started getting shield, but I'm not quite sure if it applies to the damage Ayla does to herself or not. I don't know a great deal about her, but it's been quite fun so far. But I'm able to make some money quite quickly playing this and getting the killing spree already. That was just BS luck, but Ayla is capable of running into a group and not being so scared, because Ayla can handle that better. That's what her character does. Like, she can break out groups if they can't counter her. The big counter to me would have to be Scoop with his crowd control. Ted, not so much. I just have to pay attention to where those airstrikes are. But when we need to run, or we're trying to get somewhere quickly, just go into rage. You're protected a little bit. 12.5%, isn't it? Yeah, it's about 25% damage block, so even if I'm trying to get away, I'm just going into... I'm pretty much a scout. What I mean is, because I'm trying to go as fast as possible and help my allies travel as well. I don't think the scout has such an item, but I'm basically just going as fast as I can to help my allies travel much faster as well. And this was my mistake here. Ended up... I thought I tried to break up those droids, but I got too close, and then I forgot about the snares, not a stun. So I was stuck in rage, and then I couldn't get... I can remember, I think it was in cooldown or something, but just my mistake for trying to get too involved anyway. I'm able to fight back the lanes back a little bit better anyway. Where Skullers able to do that fairly well, just can be difficult to get that light back, just where our life steal isn't the best right now, but we do build into that. And the other team, I found Genji to be a decent counter. Like, he's trying to build into the right stuff. I don't know if Metacam was wholly necessary, to be completely honest. I don't use a lot myself personally. I find that because, let's see, red team was able to use crowd control, but just trying to think what could have worked better for them. Because I think Genji was just trying to go for lifesteal and just push those lanes. But that's how you, well, you just do what you can and try to do better. And maybe it was my ally, my fault. I don't think we stuck with Skull there as much, but it's just a little hard to concentrate when you have somebody on your team spamming the commands. It's hard to stay concentrated, and after a point, the boy cries wolf. You just stop listening to them. So if they are in help, if they do need help, then I just don't bother. And just a little pet peeve, I can't see what's going on right now. There we go, that's gone. I kind of missed the way it was when it used to be just instant. Because it gets to a point if there's a big skirmish, and if someone gets a double kill or a triple kill, then the whole screen's taken out. Just minor complaint. But as you can see, just able to push the lanes and make some good progress that way. So managed to take down that turret quite quickly. So doing well, and I'm not entirely sure if the shield reduces damage on Ayla. I'll have to look into that. But it's getting to a point like the first time I died, I didn't have a lot of health, and I find Ayla loses health very quickly. Because I know, well, Scoop was becoming a problem. Like, he can do long range damage, and Ted is capable of that as well. He was trying to use a sniper bullet on me. I'm trying to remember how it went, but I think because we had an ally Scoop who was able to sustain against enemies, so I find Scoop works better against enemies. I tried Scoop as support, and the main thing has been he does not do that well against droids. When he gets to the turret, he can do quite well. But I find with Ayla, I can just charge into... She works really well against droids, but she doesn't work as well against enemy Awesomenauts. She's certainly capable. She's able to sneak in some kills, but not in the same way as Scoop is capable of doing. Like, Scoop can go hit first into enemies and have a bigger margin of error, whereas Ayla does not, I feel. Against droids, well, Ayla's she can take out multiple people at once, and she gets lifesteal the entire time, so it's... Compared to the two, I find that Ayla has a much better lifesteal against droids anyway, or multiple people. I find Scoop can sustain against one person very, very well. I'm trying to build him into being a bodyguard, just stay with allies, and just protect him as much as I can. It does work very nicely against new players, so I can kind of see why... Well, I kind of see how Scoop works for new players, just that bigger margin of error, like people who have... Well, instead of having that mistake of charging through the enemy and dying all of a sudden, like Ayla has the problem of that. Scoop, part of his playstyle, I think, revolves around that. You can't just give him more forgiveness to the new player. And yeah, I kind of wish that muting a player would also affect their commands, because I found it hard sometimes to concentrate the entire time. I didn't know there was any solar down with that turret, but thankfully there wasn't. Kind of the nice thing about replay, I can just talk while I watch and just seeing like if there's anything I missed and trying to concentrate the entire time. Because part of the thing about doing live commentary, you're trying to focus, do well, and not screw up at everything. So yeah, there's pros and cons. Live commentary is just more dynamic because it's happening in front of you as you're recording, whereas here I can just kind of comment on everything. So there are nice things to both of them. Getting to that point where I decided to use more range on Evil Eye because usually I was behind people, so I try to reach them a little bit better. But as you can see, it just helps Scoop get out of there faster. However, he had the problem of he was trying to take a droid, so that's what it was anyway. I was trying to think, why did he do that? But thankfully, I was able to take care of those droids anyway. The enemy team tried to charge in, but when you have multiple targets to feed off, it doesn't have to be the enemy Awesomenaut directly. Even if you're trying to fight someone and there's droids nearby fighting, just go to them, steal some life off them, then continue fighting. So Ayla can really take advantage of lanes anyway, because I find she's one of... Well, there's Yuri. Let's see. Ayla does very well with both pushing and defending lanes, because I find Yuri, he can push lanes quite well, but that leaves his time warp on a cooldown. I'm thinking of using the time warp to heal and make everyone go faster, plus yourself. Ayla has that on her rage. She can heal herself. Can't heal droids though. She can only apply the speed bonus. But the funny thing about that is she can apply lifesteal if she's nearby a target anyway. Like, she can't just sit in the corner and heal herself up with rage or anything like that. So it's kind of a nice extra, because I don't find Voltar to be the most entertaining character to watch, I feel. Like, if you have a good... When you do well as Voltar, you do really well as Voltar. But that's highly dependent on his allies, who they are. Because there was one match I played earlier with a Lone Star and a Raylan, 2 other pushers, and as I thought, well, even if one person doesn't push, there's still 2 people who can push. But where we were all completely focused on pushing, that put the enemy under a lot of pressure, and that enabled us to get some kills and keep pushing, because our combined pushing power ended the match in less than 10 minutes. So I can understand people's complaints, because just a minor mistake, like, pushers can do very well as long as they are able to keep working. You can kind of see why I was using lifesteal. I don't think I had... Okay, I had a little bit of attack speed bonus, but 20, and then another 20% I'll get later on in the match, and it works very, very well. Like, it's not about... I wasn't focused on trying to deal a lot of damage. I was just trying to be more on the defensive, be able to help my allies in an unusual way. Excuse me. By giving them speed bonus, because it actually works quite well, because that helps the droids cover a lot more ground. I'm not sure if it gives a better bonus than Yuri's time warp, because I know it increases speed, both attack and movement speed, by 25%, and Ayla adds a movement speed bonus of 1.6. So I'll have to look into that, see if that actually does have a better one, because it seems like the droids travel faster in that regard. And using Evil Eye, it can work quite well for support, because the way I'm trying it out right now, I'm not sure about rage right now, maybe, but I find that just increasing your slow power to either help enemies get a kill, or being able to use it to make a better getaway, because where I tend to focus on just speed, just maxing out speed on my utilities and my rage as well. If I can slow down someone in the slightest, that helps me escape, all the better. So that's the really cool thing about it. Like, it's, as you can see with Ayla versus Scoop, I was able to just pick away at him, where I'm doing more attacks, having a higher attack speed than Scoop, and where both my attacks, well, all my attacks are lifesteal, I'm able to just pelt away at him and get more life back, and theoretically deal more damage than Scoop can to me. Now, Scoop can do a lot of damage, but Ayla was just doing 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, so on and so forth, and getting 24 health back per hit or something like that. But if you're hitting multiple people at once, that's 24 per target. So when there's a group of droids coming towards your turrets, you can take them out quite quickly. Just use your rage to get up there as quickly as you can, and then just start hitting them with your chain, and that helps with breaking them up anyway. But yeah, it does work very well as support build, so I don't expect myself to stop doing this anytime soon, because I'm just enjoying it too much. I find Genji can do quite well for lane support, but I tend to like just pushing lanes more than actually going for kills, because the majority of the time, I think I would like pushing lanes, or going for kills, if it felt useful, because the majority of the time where I try to go for kills, my other allies are doing it too, and that the majority of the time it ends up nobody's pushing, everybody's just going for kills. And in my experience, what has happened is that since nobody's pushing, if someone on the other team is pushing, then there's really no one to stop them, because they can just go around. Like, if my group is on the bottom lane, the guy pushing will be on the top lane and sneak by because we're too focused with getting kills. So what has happened, someone who can just sustain or last really long in a fight, they can just distract us. And then before we know it, all our turrets are down because we're too focused trying to get kills. So I'm trying to find a way to help my allies but be able to push at the same time. That's what I really like about Genji, because what's happened before as well is you have your plan, your counter set up against enemies. Say you have your plan to counter Raylan really well, but then they disconnect. And so, oh, okay, I can try to make do. But what I find happening a lot, there's been a lot of people disconnecting for whatever reason, because there's really not that much of a punishment for disconnecting. So if people aren't either enjoying a good time, or if their kill-death ratio goes under, they just leave. What might happen is somebody who was fully prepared to counter very well is replaced by someone who I cannot counter at all. It's a pet peeve. I don't know what to suggest for it, because if someone leaves and I was doing very well against them, they could be replaced by someone who I am not able to counter at all, like going against Leon when you don't have any slows or any kind of crowd control to expose them anyway. So it's worrisome. Like it's better to just doesn't really affect tournaments, but just for the general play. I'm just trying to breathe some. That's what happens when I talk too much. I kind of get short of breath. So just waiting for me to get back, and let's see how I was doing. I was starting to go for more slow. I pretty much had the majority of my build all set up. Like, this is one of the longer matches I've had with Ayla. It took a little while to get used to Ayla, but she can do quite well with pushing droids. But you have to, well, it's not that bad to counter a droid push, because you can just get in front of them and do lifesteal, or just push them back, because with that lifesteal and that extra attack speed, you're able to counter enemy droids very, very well. So I was trying to think, like, what's a good way to play a supportive Ayla, and it seems to be, I'm not actively pursuing fights, I'm just trying to get the lanes pushed up as much as I can. And that's kind of a challenge, because if there's a group of enemies all together, it might be better to stay with my allies and try to help, but there's not a whole lot I can do, because I'm just built for self-defense, and making the offense push with droids doesn't really sync well with a lot of characters. But as I've noted, it seems to work really well work well with tanks, people who can kind of look after themselves. The only thing is that you can't counter, but using it with people who can, the other two anyway, who can look after each other, or who can get kills very nicely. So it could work very well with assassins and tanky characters, people who don't do well with pushing lanes, or just better off going for kills. Because I don't mind pushing lanes, I don't mind doing the menial work, because I feel it's very, very important to do. That's kind of the thing. But with Voltar, I don't mind playing Voltar as much. He's fun to play when I use him with the wrong characters, because I'm just trying to challenge myself. I think I'm trying to do right now, instead of trying to do the same thing. I haven't run into a situation playing with a screen or anything like that, or not a screen, a sentry, because a lot of people are complaining that sentry and Voltar work too well together. I haven't run into a sentry as of late, but if I were to run into one, I don't think I would want to play Voltar, because it almost feels guilty to play as one. It's kind of a pet peeve, but kind of curious to see what else is planned for 2.8. This is 2.7.5 as a recording. The 2.8 patch hasn't been released as a recording, so kind of looking forward to that. I'm just kind of holding out on some content, just waiting for the new patch and then go all out. I don't know. I just think I just need a few days off, because after a little while I was starting to miss playing Awesomenauts again. And I'm looking forward to the Alienware Awesomenauts Cup Awesome Cup or something. I can't remember what it's called right now, but that's getting set up. Hopefully that it can work out very nicely. I've got good trust in the people who got set up. Just as long as they can. I don't know if signing up for multiple qualifiers is a good idea, but because it's supposed to be set up that 16 or 32 teams can sign up, but half the teams are signing up in both qualifiers, so there's not as much variety as it could have been. Yeah, we'll see how that gets handled anyway. But I was at this point in the match where I wasn't actively going towards fights, I was just, as I've already mentioned, just trying to help with pushing lanes anyway. But there wasn't a whole lot I could do because that team was doing quite well staying together anyway. As for myself, this takes up quite a bit of the screen at this point. Just extra slow and just reducing the stages, because the thing with the Evil Eye is that it's more effective the weaker you are. So when I'm going for more life regen, like just going for lots of regen, keep my health as full as possible to use my rage to transport my droids faster. So I didn't quite use rage at its optimal times, but I was just trying to go for just self-defense or just help my allies get a kill, because I don't think I really used it for helping with kills. However, it's worked well for escaping at the very least, because it's not a long cooldown on it either. But I think it's supposed to be mowing down somebody when your health's nearly gone and try to get that last hit to either get that kill or get away or anything like that. But it's at this point where we were able to push in and just keep going at them, and able to take down that turret quite well. And I don't mind taking hits because as you can see, like, I can just come back around in just a moment, because where I'm not dealing as much damage, it's not quite a big deal. But we were at the point where we reached the turret and broke that down and got to the core. Broke that down, but if you make a coordinated push, you can make some quick results and end up in a very nice victory. So I'm really enjoying playing Ayla as support. I never quite figured it out before, but I find that using her to push with lanes tends to work very well for me anyway. As you know, I tend to go for more support build, but I can't remember if Ayla is still going to have the solar crab burgers in 2.8. I think she's going to still have them. I know people don't quite care for it, but solar crab burgers works very well for my kind of playstyle, because you can just kill droids and then you get rewarded with health. What's the problem? But that's just me playing characters wrong. So that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching.